Good morning, viewers. Thanks for tuning into my station today. I've been getting a lot of subscribers and likes to my station, and it makes me very happy because I enjoy doing this, and I'm glad that others are enjoying it as well. I've been getting some comments and questions as well, and one of the things that I've been asked several times is would I please do another third gen 4runner walk around, because apparently the first one I did wasn't that great. So I'm going to give it another shot today, see if I can hit all the high points, and give you a third gen 4runner walk around. Apparently 4runner. I'm going to do it inside because it's cold outside and it's kind of breezy, and it's nicer inside the shop. So anyway, starting at the beginning, here in the front, I love my third gen. I like to go wheeling. Some of the stuff that I do for it is geared towards that. If you watched the Avoid the Strawberry Milkshake video that I did, I put a cooler in the front out here to cool the transmission, completely eliminating the one that is in the radiator. So I've done a transmission cooler bypass on this. Mostly stock 3.4 because Toyota knows what they're doing when they build an engine. The 5VZ is a great engine. I love it. The only thing I did, I had a crack in the plastic piece here. I eliminated it and just put a straight piece of pipe in there. Since it's directly above the exhaust manifold, I put this heat shield around it. I don't know if that helps. I had tried it with a heat gun one way or another to see. It makes me feel better to do it. A lot of modifications may not make a difference, but if they make you feel better, do it. This is where I put my ARB compressor. I run my line here. Had to move the cruise control box. Looks like from all the mud splashed up here, even though it was a crazy muddy time last time we were out, I got some mud on the air intake part of the ARB. I might need to put a shield over that, we'll see. Run my line down. The best thing I thought to do with my line, I did get their extra thick, new, I think it's 6mm line, something. They're new and improved. It's all push fitting and it's thicker. But anyway, I run that along the brake line because that's the best way to get it to the back. Run it through the brake, along the brake line. Keep it away from anything hot, of course, on its way back. Not much else under the hood that is different here. I did build this bumper myself. This was my first sheet plate bumper that I built. I did this one all on one try. When I build things like this, I don't make a pattern or really think of a plan. I just kind of go with it, and this is how this one turned out. It's going to have to be modified because I'm putting a winch in. I got me a winch for the front. I don't know if I'm going to rebuild this bumper, build a whole new bumper or not. That's yet to be decided. Move my turn signals up in the grill because the bumper, I like that. This is not a TRD, but you can buy a TRD badge. I put those on. I do have brighter headlight bulbs. I am a big fan of the Sylvania Silver Star headlight bulb. They're much brighter and whiter. I do have those in here. I did get these Amazon fog lights. They're crazy bright. People spend a lot of money on those fancy ones. These could easily get broken out wheeling, and they are crazy bright for cheap. Those were like $25. So underneath, I rebuilt everything underneath this truck. I put new lower control arms, new lower control arm bushings, new axle shafts, upper and lower ball joints. Of course, everything the same on both sides. I put new inner and outer tie rods. I did the 3-inch lift. It's the Toy Tech lift, but it's got the Bilstein 5100s. I like doing an actual strut like this better than a block. It's more sturdy. You get your suspension right back to like a regular, like Toyota designed it, and that's good. When I did all of this, I went in, you can see it kind of. I should have brought my light down. I have one. Ha ha. Okay, right here where this axle meets the differential, there's a bearing in there. That bearing wears out and you get some wobble in this axle on the end. And East Coast Gear Supply makes a solid bushing that goes in there. You take your bearing out, you put that bushing in, and you just put your axle back in. Comes with the new seal and everything. Eliminates that wobble. While I had everything apart, I went ahead and put one of those in. Anything and everything to eliminate problems, because I was lifting a 200,000 mile vehicle basically. So all that new stuff is worthwhile, holds up. Do it all at once while you're in there if you have the means, and then you won't have issues. 33-inch BFG KO2s. Love these tires. They wear like iron and they work really well off-road. I just use my factory skid plates. And like I say, if you watch some of my stuff, you know some of this already. But to try to give you a full rundown of what makes my 4Runner awesome to me, this is what it is. I did change the battery out yesterday. That battery that was in there was old though. Now, when I lifted this vehicle, the tires hit the upper A-arm, and the angle that the A-arm is at with this particular tire and wheel combination made it rub up here. To eliminate that, I put 1/4-inch spacers in behind the wheel. A lot of people are anti-spacer. A 1/4-inch spacer, it doesn't hurt anything. I've run them for years and years and years. Sometimes you got to do it to clear brakes and things, but on this one it was just the rub up here, and even though it wasn't really causing a big issue, it made a rumbly noise when you turned for that tread rubbing it, and I didn't like that. So change that. Back side of the front, the rack is a stock rack. You can see all my markings where when I put things together, I always paint mark them so that I know I touched the bolt and got everything like it's supposed to be. You can't see them because they're dirty, but I put the Daystar Performance, whenever the poly bushings in, for my rack too, because when you're wheeling, you can get rack deflection. When your old stock bushings get wore out, your rack can cause you wobble. So there are a lot of things, a lot of issues. If you look online for 3rd Gen 4Runners that are lifted and have wobbles, some even aren't. I can't tell you what pinpoint thing to do to eliminate that. But if you go through and you put everything in new, you replace crap with high quality. And I'm not saying a Toyota stock bushing is crap, but an old 200,000 mile one is not near as good as a polyurethane bushing. They are tougher. I run stock transfer case, stock rear drive shaft. I think everything in my drivetrain is stock. The gears are stock. I got 33s, but that doesn't. This truck came with 31, so that's not a huge difference. I did gusset. You can see the gussets that I put in above the sliders on here. That helps distribute the weight, and when they have some come up to them, that'll help. This is friggin' muddy as anything under here. I went out in my own property wheeling, and it's really muddy. I did hit my door too. This little thing right here. It was so muddy, I slid off of the trail and got into my door a little bit right there. So I might have to see if I can buff that out. I don't know, gotta ground some dirt into it, but it's always something. Little cosmetic thing like that doesn't bother me. I still run my stock skid, gas tank skid. We talked about that. Underneath here, I put Sonoran Steel's lower control arms. They're DOM. I've seen people bend these. They make a little brace thing you can put underneath of them to strengthen up stock ones and give them a skidder. I didn't want to do that. Mine were old and rusty and the bushings were all wore out and whooped. So I just went ahead and put these on. I ordered these. Sonoran Steel makes a great product and I'm really pleased with them. Let me get myself off the floor here. Move to the back side of the differential. I run just basic lube in my differentials and transfer case because I change it pretty regular. I don't do like a synthetic or royal purple or none of those, because if you get under there, if you go wheeling, it's not a bad deal to change them once a year anyway. So I just run local auto parts store stuff for that. All right, I have also my top links were cruddy and rusty. I ordered the bushings for the top links from Sonoran Steel. If you listen to him and read his website, he'll tell you these top links are plenty fine in factory condition. They flex well. They don't bend generally. And they just need a better bushing, basically, is all it takes in there. And so I bought those bushings from him. When I took my old ones out, the inside was so cruddy, I just bought new ones. So you don't have to buy new ones, but I wasn't going to try to put new bushings in those when they were pretty crappy. Also, the adjustable track bar. It does help a lot if you lift your vehicle and you don't have the adjustable track bar. It puts the swing of the rear end at a different place, and when you go over bumps, it's an odd sensation of the rear end swinging. So that adjustable track bar helps to center everything up, and it all works fine in nice harmony together. The Toytech Boss shocks, they're on the back. I like those shocks. They're made for the 3-inch lift. This truck flexes crazy well. It'll stuff tire really well. I'm very pleased with that. So that's what I got going on there. You can see the ARB line coming in here. I'll get to that when I get around the other side of that tire. I made my back bumper too. Put some braces inside, angles from the frame out to the bottom for support, as well as attached it to the frame rails so that it's good and strong. Put a thing for a receiver hitch in it back here. It's been plenty tested. Don't want it ripped off. I built this bumper as well. It was I cut it apart and redid it 3 different times because I wasn't happy with it. So that's why it's kind of got some weird seams and things. I plan to plate over it again and maybe even bring it out a little further for more body protection. Same thing when I do the front one. I'm going to bring it out a little further. Like the sliders hang out for body protection, I need my bumpers to do the same thing. I've wheeled this vehicle quite a few times, pretty fun. Seems like I've been banging it up a little bit here and there, but that's what happens. Badlands, love to go to the Badlands. Been there so many times, but it's a really fun place. It's inexpensive and it's close. My most favorite park I've ever been, Flat Nasty Off-Road Park. That is my most favorite park. I highly recommend it. Everybody go there, but not when I'm there because I like the seclusion of being there by myself. Again, I stuck a little TRD sticker on the back there. Bought those on Amazon. And you can see damn it, ARB line I run from the top up here, and then I run it attached to attached to the control arm, so it's up completely out of the way. Run through this rubber mount over here, and then we're back where the brake line was again. I like to, of course, put the padding on any place where it could abrade, because you don't want that happening. I have flexed the suspension out pretty crazy. Last couple times I went out wheeling, and it did not pull or stretch or stress on that cable any at all. Very pleased with that. Talked about breaking this grease zerk off. When you go wheeling, you hit the rocks, that's what happens. So it's easy enough to get that out and put one in. Again, when it's time, I used to take the grease zerks out and put a little bolt in there, but then they just rip the heads off of those too. So it didn't really save much. I had to fix the frame on this. I boxed it in with bigger, thicker, heavier stuff than it had before. So it's actually stronger than it was when it was original. You get some frame rot. It's not difficult to fix if you catch it in time. It happens. So that's pretty much everything around the outside. Power antenna still works. I kind of wish it wasn't power, because you can't lower it down at certain levels like you can the Land Cruiser ones. So if you're out wheeling, it's radio off, or you gotta be listening to something else, which nobody listens to radio but old men like me. Anyway, I took my roof rack off. Get up here. Mud from when I was wheeling the other day. I don't like the roof rack. You can see where it was when if you climb up and get up on here, but I think they're kind of silly. Never put anything up there. Why? I don't overland, I guess. I go camping, I go wheeling, but I don't go overlanding. I don't need a roof rack and a shovel and 1,500 things bolted to the roof, changing my center of gravity around. You can argue with me about that if you want, but it won't do you any good. My mind won't change. I have one of these for airing down. They are super nice. If you've never used one, I highly recommend them. You just screw this on your valve, takes the actual valve stem out. You pull this little slider back and forth, and then you can keep track of your air pressure there. Super fast, easy way to air down. I like it. They're not very expensive. Lots of different brands make them. I actually got this one as a free gift during a holiday promo sale. We've moved to the inside already. I should start back here at the back. I have recently gotten a cover for my power outlet. That's been missing. That was bugging me. I'm happy to have that on there. I don't do a whole lot different on the inside either. I got my fire extinguisher in there. I got some stuff in there for plugging tires, some bungee cords and ratchet straps. That's a good place to put stuff in there, not rattling. My air tank, I've talked about that. These are 5 pounds. We're going to see how those do. 10-pound fit too, but it was bigger. I like the 5-pound size. We'll see how it does. Overall, I've used it once so far to air up a set or air up all 4 tires. We'll see how it goes. Again, recovery gear back at the back where you probably need it the most. Tools right here where I can sit down up there in front of it and dig through my tool bag. This is a lightweight bag, but I like it strapped down. It's got jumper cables, fold-up saw, fold-up shovel, a little crap like that in it, but stuff I like to keep in my rig. So always ready to go wheeling. And so there's that. I showed just the other day, I had the epiphany of moving my high lift up here. So even with all my stuff in the way, if I needed my high lift out of there, pretty easy. Just unscrew these and take it out of there. Seats go right back down over it. Really happy with that. It actually rattles so much less now. I was driving around. I didn't get out because we're under lockdown, but I'm going crazy. So I took my truck out and I drove it around my 20-mile test course. And the rattling was cut down even more. So I hardly have any rattles going on back here now. Basically stock. I'll tent camp for a week, but if I'm going for an overnight or a weekend, I'll sleep in this spot back here. I'm glad I can still sleep back here, even with my jack location. Strap my cooler over there. Of course, that's easy enough to move. Machete pocket. I'm glad that there's a machete pocket back here. You got to have one because if you're going camping, you never know when you're going to need your machete. I took my seat bottoms out for additional storage back here. I don't ride people around in the back. I don't really like to ride anybody but one person when I'm wheeling anyway. I don't like to put other people's lives in my hands when we're off-roading, but yeah. So that's kind of the modifications I've made inside. The front is so nice anyway. My gear shift knob I changed. I really like that, and it's little tiny things like that, I tell you, that make a difference. That stock one was perfectly fine, but I put that little one on there, and I tell you, I really like that. So do silly little things like that that make you happy. Nothing wrong with that. Make you enjoy your cabin a lot more. I tinted my windows to match the factory tints in the back. I did the thing across the top up here too. Inside I was not factory locked, so I got an ARB locker gifted to me. I went through everything I needed to get it installed, and now I have my compressor switch here, my locker switch here. I have tested that. I did set that up myself before I had my channel, or I could have showed you how to do that. Maybe do it again because I'm going to have to put a locker in my first gen. So anyway, I put those switches there. That's actually a factory installed optional fog light switch. I like it. I left it there. I did use it to wire my aftermarket lights up. Patrick Starr, he's my navigator. You can't go wrong wheeling when you got Patrick Starr navigating. I've got my sloth up there, my spirit animal. Have been called a ninja sloth. From time to time, I'm about 95% sloth, about 10% ninja. SR5 seats. I love the SR5 seats, the adjustable headrest, the lumbar, and the part down here at your legs. That's so nice. When I first got this truck, I had to have this seat recovered. I took it to my local trim shop and I said, hey, can you just fix this with whatever you got? I don't care, it's a truck. This is actually fabric from a Saturn that they put in here, but it's so close to matching. And now you'll see it every time you look, but if you didn't know that that wasn't factory, you wouldn't know it. See a lot of people running around with that wore out and broke down on their seat. You know, that's like a $60 repair at a reputable trim shop. So get that fixed. I got plans for stereo to go in here one day, maybe. I don't know. Never have gotten around to that so far. Love the way Toyota lays their stuff out. I mean, this is a 20-year-old truck with over 200,000 miles on it, and you know, everything is still put together. It doesn't squeak and creak and rattle. 26 different shades of brown, but you know, whatever. Sunroof, I really like that. Like I said, this is not a limited, but to me, it's pretty loaded. I did go through and change all my interior lights out with LEDs. I did the same thing in my Tundra. Oh, the one in the back there is also an LED. There's only a couple in here. So I redid those. Gosh, I don't know what else to say or share. I hope I've covered everything. The 33s barely rub. I can stuff with this 3-inch lift. I can stuff the tires all the way up. You can see it just barely get a rub. They'll come clear up in the fender. On the fronts, the only rub I get is right here on the frame at full lock when turning. And it's so minor, it more just takes the paint off. You can't even really feel it rubbing. So 3-inch lift, rides like a dream. Redo all of your stuff when you lift your old vehicle all at once so that you won't have a bunch of problems. That's, in my opinion, the best way to go about it. I run this thing 80 mile an hour down the interstate and it's just smooth as glass, and then take it and wheel it and drive it right back home again. Had the alignment just recently done, because when you wheel, sometimes you'll knock your alignment out a little bit. Pay for the extra year on your alignment so you can go get it touched up. I hope you enjoy this version of my 3rd gen walk around. I love my 3rd gen. Wheeling it is great. Take yours out and have a good time with it. Don't worry about the little scuffs and dings. They're just scars, and chicks dig scars, man. And we got to believe that, right? So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking my show and requesting things. It's fun for me to do this, and I'm glad you're enjoying it too. So have a nice day and appreciate this walk around.